Before we continue our series on the parables of Jesus, I wanted to do a short video to clarify something that will shape everything that follows. It's something many people sense intuitively, but rarely say out loud. Jesus and Paul are not teaching the same thing. They're not even operating from the same consciousness. Jesus teaches the inner kingdom, the transformation of perception, the collapse of ego, and the awakening of identity. Paul teaches a system of belief, the idea that Jesus takes on the consequences of human sin so that others can be forgiven, and salvation from sin and guilt through behavioral modifications, where Paul provides the doctrine. These are two different worlds, and if you try to interpret Jesus through Paul, then you lose Jesus. When Jesus speaks, he speaks in parables, stories that bypass the intellect and go straight to the inner world. He teaches in images, metaphors, and psychological patterns. He reveals how the defended ego self collapses, how awakening happens, and how the kingdom within, our inner consciousness of truth and reality, becomes visible. Paul doesn't teach in parables. He teaches in arguments. He builds systems. He defines categories. He explains sin, law, righteousness, justification, and atonement. Jesus says, the kingdom is within you. Paul says, you're saved by faith in Christ crucified. These are not the same message. Jesus is always pointing you back to your true nature, the image of God, the inner kingdom, the consciousness of truth. Paul is always pointing you back to your behavior, what you should do, what you shouldn't do, what you must believe, and what you must avoid. Jesus transforms the self. Paul manages the self. Jesus dissolves ego. Paul reinforces ego through guilt, fear, shame, and moral scorekeeping. In Jesus' world, the Father runs to the Son. The kingdom is already here. You are already loved. You are already whole. You simply awaken to what has always been true. In Paul's world, you're separated from God by sin. You need a mediator. You need a sacrifice. You need a belief system to bridge the gap. Jesus removes the gap. Paul institutionalizes it. If you interpret Jesus through Paul, the parables collapse into moral lessons or salvation formulas. They lose their psychological depth. They lose their consciousness shifting power. They become religious stories instead of inner world revelations. So before continuing on with the parables, I just wanted to make clear that this is where I'm coming from. Both men exist in history, but only one reveals the architecture of human consciousness, and that is the one I want to focus on, because he is the one who shows us the way out of the ego trap and leads us home to reality and truth. Thanks for watching.